We're going to explore a little bit the gradients. The gradient is here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tool down on the right side of the toolbar. You can either have the gradient or the fill bucket tool, and we're going to click on the gradient. Now you'll notice when we click on the gradient appears up here on the tool option bar, and the colors that are in the default gradient are whatever colors are here in your foreground and background color chip. So if we want to change that, we can put some colors here, see, in our chip, and put another color here in our chip. Okay, and we have these colors up here in our gradient bar. Okay, and next to it in our tool option bar are different kinds of gradient styles. There's linear, and there's radial, angle, reflected gradient, and diamond gradient. To use your gradient, you just pull and you get it, and you can keep going backwards. Control-Alt-Z if you use your keys. Okay, that's the linear, and here's the radial. Now we're going from out to in. Control-Alt-Z, and from in to out. Control-Alt-Z. Okay, and then here is the angle. Gradient, Control-Alt-Z, Control-Alt-Z, and then reflective here, and we do it the other way, and we have then the diamond, in to out and out to in. Okay, now I was just doing it in to out or out to in, but you can change it this way too. I'll show you. We have the linear gradient here, and I'm going to go left to right. Okay, you see the red is here, the green is here. And I'll hit reverse up here, and it's the opposite way. So you can use this little option here, reverse the gradient colors. And you can also change the opacity of the gradient over here. See, with the opacity, I will make it light. Another way I change the opacity is I make a separate layer for the gradient. So the gradient has its own layer. I do the opacity 100 on the toolbar, but I change it over here on the fill or on the opacity here. See? I change it over here. Because when the gradient has its own layer, you can change it multiple times, but if you set the opacity and put it on the background, you're stuck with that. Okay, so that's why usually when I'm working with the gradient, I put it on its own layer. Okay, and you can make your own gradient. You can change your colors here, and you can create your own custom colored gradient by going here. These are some gradients that were created. You can change it. See, these were created. So these are in your library for Photoshop. So you can use any of these gradients here, and if you want to change the colors on them, for instance, here's a 3-color gradient, and we can this gradient editor opens, and we can change the colors if we want. Put this color here, we can put this color here, and we can put this color here, and we have this gradient, and we can name it our custom gradient number 1. And we have a new gradient in here, and it's here in our little library. We can change the way this gradient, you see down here with the colors, we can change the way the colors are listed here. and you can change where the colors blend. And on the top, this is, you can add more, see, you can add more opacity bars up here, and you can change where the colors change. And if you have some of these bars and you want to get rid of them, you just pull them down. See? You pull them down. Or you can move them here. And you can design your own gradient. Your own custom gradient that has transparencies in it. Here's the opacity. The opacity can be heavier here. And the opacity can be down to nothing over here. And this is the little blend bar over here. So this could be custom too. So we have another gradient over here. So that's kind of how you make your own custom gradients. You can take some of these that they have, that they already worked on, you see here, and we can maybe put your own color in it, and then you can put a name on it with your own color in it and have custom 3 for this new one. So there's my own new gradient, and I go OK. So now I've got some new gradients up here, some custom ones. But Photoshop also has some libraries in here with gradients. Here's some pastels, and they asked if you want to replace them or append them. We don't want to replace these. We want to keep these here. We just want new ones added on, so we'll append it. So there's some of Photoshop, and here's some metals. Append it. So here's some metal gradients, see? And let's see, special effects, append it. There's some special effect gradients. Now any of these gradients that come up, if you like the way they're set up with the transparency and the strips, remember you can always go in there, open it up, and you can put your own colors in here to make this your own custom gradient, just as we did over here. And then you can use your own custom gradient, or you can put your own custom gradient in one of the marquee selections and drag it in and pull it out just like that. So that's a little bit more about learning how to work with gradients.